We're thinking ahead. We're not making rash decisions based on impulse. Why didn't you make a time machine to go back and tell me that I'm setting up for an objective that I don't even need to complete? Welcome and welcome back, everybody. T here, and in today's video, we'll be doing a playthrough of the first chapter of the Wildtails, a Pirate Legacy campaign from Buttonshy Games. During the course of the game, I'll give a tutorial about how the game's played, and be sure you stick around for the end of the video where I share my thoughts about the game in general. A huge thank you to Buttonshy for providing me with a copy for review. Without further ado, let's get started. Here we have a game of Wildtails set up and ready to play. Over the course of each campaign, we'll be playing through a particular scenario, which will have two characters that are facing a threat. In order to defeat the threat, we'll have to complete all 4 levels on both of our objective cards here by paying the cost in the bottom right corner using resources that we get from our different scene cards. If we are able to do so before the 7th round is over, we've won the game. But if we are not completed our objectives and resolve the threat by the end of round 7, we have lost. Additionally, the threat will be capturing scene cards as we go throughout the game, and if they ever capture 5 scene cards, we have lost. So for setup, you're going to follow along with the Adventurer's Guide that can be downloaded with the QR code found in the Wildtails rulebook. You're going to set the pirate's log off to the side as a reference and place the round marker on level 1 of the provided threat for the scenario. The threat we'll be using today are the raiders, and the 2 objective cards we'll be using are the hideout and explosives. We'll then take the 2 characters noted in our scenario and place them on either side of our empire. We'll then shuffle up all of the rest of the scene cards and place them face down to form the location deck. On our turn, we're going to do 4 things. Number 1, check to see the card effect. Each card will have a curse icon. We'll see if that matches any of the icons based on the rounds. As we progress through more rounds, more curse icons will line up with different negative effects. So for round 1, that's going to be null and void. As you can see, none of the icons on our threat card line up with any of these curse markings. The second thing we're going to do is take an action with our active character. So we'll switch between Anna and Samuel here for today. The things you can do on your turn is complete a scene event. In order to do that, you can either take the top for free and tuck it underneath your card showing the resources, or you can trade in resources to get a greater bonus, or perform a skill check. To perform a skill check, we'll be using 2 cards together, which you'll see throughout the playthrough. Another thing you can do is fulfill one of the objectives. In order to do that, you're going to turn in the given resources and put them into the discard pile. Once the character fulfills an objective, the objectives are going to be locked to that character and tracked along the bottoms of their cards. So it's super important to plan ahead for that. Another thing you can do on your turn is attack the threat by trying to make a skill check equal to this value plus the number of captured cards. Or finally, you can choose to just discard the scene card and move on to the next player's turn. The last thing we'll do is check to see if we're at the end of the round, meaning that the location deck is empty. If that happens, we're going to advance our round marker, shuffle up all our discarded cards, add 1 to the captured pile of our threats, and then continue on with a new round of the game. That's about all we need to know to get started. So we're just going to jump in here. We'll say Anna will go first today. So she can steal some ship goods for free. We don't have anything else. And unfortunately, her savvy is only 3, and we would need 6 to get that. So we would need 3 with a modifier of 3. So I think we're just going to go ahead and steal the ship goods. Now, you can also, on your turn after your action, store goods in the Empire. Goods in the Empire can be accessed by both of our characters here by using their special ability Smuggle, which we pay 1 resource to take as many cards as we want from the Empire. The Empire can hold up to 3 cards though, so I'm not sure that putting the barrels in the middle will be particularly helpful at this time. Although, yeah, we'll just hold on to them for now. The hideout requires barrels, but we'll see. All right, moving on. Again, in round 1, we don't have any threats that could trigger, so we're going to move on to Samuel's turn here. He can take a barrel for free or do some other actions. We'll go ahead and take that barrel. And back to Anna's turn. We can take 2 swords, which would be pretty good if we want to fulfill the hideout action, or we can trade a barrel for 2 money and a sword. I think we'll go ahead and do that because Samuel set up a little bit nicely to maybe work on the hideout with 1 barrel. So we're going to discard this card, and this keeps cards in circulation as well. So we're using it for the barrel resource, which gives us 2 coins and a sword here. We're going to flip the card to that side here. like so. And we would just need one more coin to complete the first level of our explosives objective. Now it's back to Samuel's turn. We can take a coin, or we can trade the barrel for 3 coins. Well, we know that Anna is working towards 3 coins. What we might want to do instead is trade the barrel for 3 coins and put it into the stronghold so that she can grab them later using the smuggle action. Alternatively, we can go for a gem, which is a wild resource, but again, we have 3 and we would need a bigger modifier. So we're going to discard this barrel to get 3 coins, and we're immediately going to store that into the Empire since we're not at our 3 card limit. Then we're back to Anna's turn. So she can take 2 coins for free, which sounds pretty good. And next round, she'll be able to trade them in for the first round of explosives. And back to Samuel here. We can take a single barrel, which would be good for the other one. We'll do that. Back to Anna. Okay, so we're going to have some overages here. Unfortunately, we don't get change back for that last coin. So we're going to trade these in for our explosives. And to track that, we're simply going to slide it under here. Now you'll notice that as we complete each level, we're going to get different bonuses. So Anna has +1 to her bravery. So she has a bravery value of 6 right now, which is pretty good. That means that Samuel will be trying to complete the hideout objective. So I'm just going to slide these up here for the sake of getting everything framed relatively nicely in the camera. We're back to Samuel's turn. So he could take a sword, which would help us towards the hideout. We can also trade this in for 2 swords, which isn't great. So we'll just go ahead and take a sword. Ooh. Right, and back to Anna's turn. I guess we'll go ahead and just take the sword, or we can try to take the wild, but the sword can be discarded to get us our 3 coins. So we might as well just take that for free instead of doing a skill check. Back to Samuel's turn. We need swords. So I could trade in the barrel for 2 swords and a coin, or we could try to get a wild with a skill check on our savvy, which I think we'll do. So to do a skill check, we're going to first remove the top card and flip it over, and then we'll check the curse icons. If they match, it's an automatic fail, and we have not performed the skill check adequately. Luckily here, they do not match. Then you're going to look at the modifier of the reveal card and add it to that character's stat. So right now we have 5 savvy plus 3, which is 8, and we only need 6 or higher in order to get this wild icon and the cannon. So we'll go ahead and take that for a successful skill check. And now it is back to Anna's turn. Instead of going through and taking this, which wouldn't be great, I think what we'll go ahead and do is discard this card to use our smuggle action. And that is in addition to our normal turn to take these 3. And then we just need a sword, which we will have to take from here. I don't know why I said instead of taking this card and ending the round, because the round is over. Alrighty. So now we're going to move on to round 2. So we're going to slide this card over, and you can see that if we draw a purple curse, now we will have to perform that negative effect. We're going to shuffle up all of our discarded cards. Unfortunately, we have so many cards tucked, so this is going to be very short rounds. We're going to take the top card and add it underneath our raiders here. Okay, so they have 5 plus 1 in order to defeat them now. But again, in order to defeat them fully for the campaign, we have to finish both objectives first, and we've only gotten 1 level on 1. Oof. All right, so it is back to Samuel's turn. Our curse icons do not match, so we're okay there. And he can steal some barrels. He can trade in a barrel for 3 swords, which honestly, long term, might be the better option because we got an additional resource of a sword, which we will need. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Trade in the barrel for 3 swords. Okay, and now it's back to Anna's turn. We definitely need more cards back in circulation, but first, oh no. Okay, we have a curse. This little hook icon means that we are going to discard the bottom card from the scene deck. Oof. Short round just got shorter. And we can trade these in for the next level on our explosives. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So now we've gained 2 modifier for our deception skill. Back to Samuel. Now, unfortunately, that still matches, which I probably could have thought ahead about and maybe had her do a skill check for bravery since she's at 6 out of 8 and gotten 2 wilds, but my tiny brain can't handle that. So we have to discard another card. Ugh. And then we can trade in these 3 swords and the 1 wild gem as a barrel to complete the first level of our hideout objective for good old Samuel here. Now we have that same icon again, but luckily this time there are no cards underneath, so that power is null and void and we don't have to worry about it. What we're going to do then with that for Anna is maybe we'll make, oh, but there's no card underneath, so we can't even make a check. So I guess we'll just have to take the 2 swords and go from there. It'd be great if we had a barrel, but we don't. So we'll tuck those bad boys right under there. Do we want to put them in the stronghold for Samuel? He'd have to spend a resource to get them anyway, so I think we'll just leave it there. All right, and believe it or not, that's already the end of round 2. We're going to advance our round marker, shuffle up our scene cards here, put 1 underneath our raiders. Now anytime we get a purple fire or blue moon, we're going to have some issues. Luckily we have a blue moon tucked from last time, but not looking super good right now. So it is back to Anna's turn since Samuel just completed an objective. Oh my goodness. Oh, what are we doing? Okay. Also, is Anna a squirrel or a skunk? Like, what's happening here? The markings, the shapes, the stripe makes me think skunk, but she's also reddish, and the tail is a little poofy like a squirrel. I know they have red squirrels, but like, y'all, this is pretty sus. What are we doing here? No curse cards. Barrels. Do barrels help us? No, but swords do get us money, which is pretty good. So we're going to trade in our swords for money. I guess that makes sense thematically, right? Like sell some swords, make some money. Sounds pretty good. Samuel's turn. Curse does not match. We can get a coin or we could get 2 barrels and a money. Neither of those sounds particularly good. We could also do a skill check. We need 6. Let's go for it and see what happens. So curses don't match. We have a modifier of 2, which makes us a 7. So we get a wild here. Nice. Good. All right. So next up is Anna's turn. Curses don't match. We can take 2 money or we can try to do a skill check. But we have 3 out of 7, which is not great. And we just need 1 more sword for that. The other thing we can do is attack the raiders. If we are successful, then we will kind of beat them back and get these cards back into our discard pile. Since Anna is currently at 6 out of 7, I think that's a pretty fair bet. So as long as we don't get an auto fail. Oh, good. Okay, these do not match. We have a modifier of 2. So these 2 cards will go back under here. Now, unfortunately, the card that we revealed has a moon symbol, which lines up with that hook icon. So we're going to have to discard 1 before Samuel's turn. And for Samuel's turn, do we want to try to do a skill check to get a wild? A barrel is not particular. Oh, a barrel is pretty helpful. Let's go ahead and do that and get rid of the card for sure. And we're back to Anna's turn. No matching curse icon. Oh, and we need a sword. So that works out pretty well, except for the fact that both of our characters are fully stacked again. And it's the end of the round, which means we're going to have another very short round. Shuffling up our cards, placing 1 underneath our raiders. Oh, man, at least it's a purple. Although that particular icon doesn't trigger in campaign scenario 1. So, yeah, okay. Back to Samuel's turn. We have 3 icons. We need 5. So we need some swords. Yeah, we'll take a sword. Sounds great. Or, hold up. We can use our wild as a coin and trade it for 2 swords in a barrel, which sounds pretty freaking great. So we're going to do that. Make a mess of our cards. Good. Excellent. Nice job, Tia. And we're going to go ahead and go like that so that we can trade in for another level on our objective next round. Blue thing. All right, this little dagger here means that we're going to capture the top card from the discard pile. This is going to swoop right underneath our raiders, and then it's Anna's turn. We're going to turn these in. Oh, but then we capture another card. Okay, we're not going to make the same mistake twice. We're going to learn from our mistakes like an intelligent, living being. All right. So what we need to do is not trade these in yet. We need to get rid of that top card. Otherwise, the cards will go and he'll be super strong. We could attack him. We could take the thing. We could do a skill check. 3 of 8s. Yeah, okay, that's not happening. So I think what we'll do is we will try to punch the raiders in the face. Skill check. Doesn't match. And we are at, what are we testing? And we are at, for deception, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 5, 6, 7. Good. So we're going to get these cards back. Woo! All right. Excellent. Now it's going to be Samuel's turn. We are going to trade in our goods. We have 1 sword, 2, 3 swords, and a barrel, which moves us up to level 2. And that gives us a +2 modifier here as well, which will be great for skill checks if we ever need to use them. Back to Anna's turn. No matchy. Now we can trade them in during the no matchy time. Ooh, and now we have a permanent barrel. That'd be great for completing some objectives or getting some better resources. Samuel's turn. We have a barrel. We can get 2 swords in a barrel for 1 barrel. How that works, I don't know. I'm not sure that animals are great with economics, but I will take that trade. So barrel for 2 stabby swords and a barrel. Okay. And yes, okay. I wasn't sure if we checked the curse icon. I was just too excited. Yes, we didn't have to because of that pro tip, right? And we have another eye icon here. So I have a barrel, which could get me 3 money. Hey, permanent barrel. I love you. Okay, here we go. Now we're cooking with gas. I feel like there's some momentum happening. You guys feel it? All right. Round 5. Oof, we're really getting down to the wire. We have a nice fat stack of scene cards. You see this? You like that? Yeah. Okay, good. We're going to place the top one underneath our raiders here. And it is back to Samuel's turn. No curses happening. Fantastic. He just needs 1 more sword. Is there a way that we could get the sword? We can do a check. We're at 7, so as long as we don't auto fail, we're good. Oh, thank goodness. All right, so we get the wild here. Unfortunately, we did reveal a purple card. Oh, but this symbol has no effect until later in the campaign. No spoilers here. I have no idea what that does because I wanted to make sure to keep this nice and pristine so we can play through campaign 1 together and I'm not ruining the ending of the game for you. Back to Anna's turn. We have a curse, but again, it doesn't apply. So we need a pokey stabby sword-y thing. Or I can use a permanent barrel to set us up for next time, which I think we'll do. The round is still early. The night is still young. We're thinking ahead. We're not making rash decisions based on impulse. We are planning with our little squirrel / skunk, whatever we are brain. Back to Samuel's turn. Okay, we can trade these in. Is there anything else we can do that looks good? No, I want the permanent coin, so we're doing it. I'm not going to think too hard about it. Samuel is a rash little rat, unlike Anna, who is very planful and likes to think ahead, learns from her mistakes. What a lovable duo. Anna's turn. No matchy quite yet, but next round in round 6, that would have been a problem. So we can not do anything great. Awesome. We have a permanent barrel, which gets us 3 swords, but that doesn't help us at all. We could get them over here for Samuel later, potentially, and he could use his permanent resource to smuggle them, I think. We'll do that. Trading our permanent barrel for 3 stabby swords and storing them in the Empire as our freebie. And it's Samuel's turn. We have this yellow icon, so we're going to hook that bottom card over. Lame. And then it's Samuel's turn. So we are going to do a thing. Oh, if we take those 3 swords, then we just need a barrel. Is there a way we can get a barrel? Yes, we can get 3 barrels, in fact, with our permanent coin. So we're going to do that and trade our... Oh, but then we can't trade our coin. We can do that next round and then turn them in. And another lightning bolt. Oh my gosh. So Anna's turn. We can take the sword, which sets us up. Oh no, but that's the last card, which means our deck will be super small again. Mistakes were made, y'all. I think we're just gonna do it though. At least we'll be set up for hopefully 2 quick object. Oh, we only need 1 more objective completion. What was I thinking? No, 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 bad. Ah. Y'all, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you make a time machine to go back and tell me that I'm setting up for an objective that I don't even need to complete? Ugh. We're turning these in. Okay, good. Put those there. Last one. This means that Anna is ready to go punch our raiders in the face. Bottom card, not there. Samuel's turn. We're going to use our permanent resource to take a smuggle action. And then we're going to turn in way too many resources to fulfill the next portion of our hideout, bringing us to full completion of our second objective here. I mean, technically this is objective number 1, but whatever. Okay, so now we can attempt to punch the raiders in the face, which should be very easy because they only have 6. And guess what? Anna is 1 brave little skunk. Wait, squirrel or squirrel, skunk, squirrel, or skunk, squirrel, squnk? That was 1 brave little squnk. And so she is going to try to punch them in the face, but we can't. So we're just going to flip and advance to round number 6. Again, if you only have 1 card, you cannot perform a skill check, which is how you defeat a threat. So we're going to go ahead and do something like this, something like that. We're going to check to see if our curse lines up, and it does. They're going to capture the top card. There isn't one. So we have 6 out of 7. As long as it's not an auto fail or 0, we should be good. And +4, boom. All right, so we are at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of 7, and we have defeated the raiders in our first part of our Wildtails campaign. So there you have it. That is a solo playthrough of the first scenario in Wildtails, A Pirate Legacy. I have to say that I originally saw this game and I thought, little furry animal, humanoids, not really into that. Legacy game, allergies. But I am so glad that buttonshy ended up sending me a review copy because, wow, I really enjoy this game a lot more than I thought I would. Overall, I have not been able to explore a whole lot of the story and legacy element because I wanted to keep the components nice and tidy so that there were no spoilers for y'all when making this video, but I'm really excited to delve into the rest of the campaign. And as far as the story goes, I will be honest and say that I am not the type of person who really loves games that are dripping in theme, that have a lot of story and things of that nature. While those things aren't necessarily things that I'm an expert in reviewing, the one thing I can very confidently talk about are the mechanics for the game. I've been a big fan of some other games designed by Dustin Milan, and I have to say that Wildtails just is like on a whole nother level of innovation in terms of having cards have multifunction and multi-use to pack a huge legacy game into just 18 cards. The fact that all of the cards have different trackers, but that those trackers then inform the course of the gameplay, like how the curse icons line up, or even objectives snapping to a particular character. That's not just to track it as a, okay, round 1, 2, 3, 4, but which character gets which objective actually has a lot of strategic bearing on how your game plays out. I think having the cards with the curse icons for the skill checks is a really cool way of doing it because I've seen a lot of games that will do skill checks using a die roll, which is going to be random each time. With the cards, you can kind of see which cards are in, make sure certain cards are captured, tuck certain cards to not trigger curses or to not have auto fails. And if you're really paying attention, you can manage some of those things in a little bit more of a planful, strategic way than leaving it up to random chance. Such a cool idea and design for the cards. Found this one to be a pretty easy learn. The legends on the cards and iconography are just really clean and clear. Everything works together in such a logical way, but it's a way that I never would have thought of because it's so innovative how many different uses each of the cards actually has. And one of the things that I really enjoy is that they took into account the fact that people might love this game enough to want to play through it more than just through the campaign. So there's even setup for after you finish the campaign, where you can do a variable setup with random objectives and a threat using various characters and playing through just to see how well you do in a particular scenario. As someone who's not a big fan of Legacy, again, I super appreciate that this game is playable just on a scenario basis without having to go through the whole campaign or follow a strict setup each time. So I think if you're a fan of Legacy games, if you're a fan of this theme, this is definitely one you don't want to pass up on. And if you're like me, and some of those things might have held you back, the Legacy elements, the storytelling part of it, I think mechanically this game really holds its own. It's super solid, and I think that it is a wonderful value. Overall, if you haven't already, I definitely recommend checking out Wildtails, A Pirate Legacy from Buttonshy Games. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please feel free to leave a like. It really helps out the channel, and while you're down there, you can subscribe for more board game content, including future wallet games and other solo play. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.